so we have the compound AlO3, and this is aluminium oxide. How am I able to name it? Because aluminium is a metal and oxygen is a non-metal. And I know that if I put the two together, the end of the name gets a suffix IDE or "ide," right? And we don't worry about the numbers. Okay, we only worry about the numbers when we have two non-metals together. So let's take away the 2 for now. Let's do exactly what we done yesterday, where we calculated and we wrote all our answers, right? Okay, Kayla says that she cannot attend the class. I'm just answering her here. Okay. All right, so guys, you can answer me in the chat. Not so good, ma'am. I have some. Oh, sorry, Michael. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So, guys, first question. Which elements does the compound consist of? So that's very easy. You can answer me in the chat. And I'm going to write down the answers with you guys. Yes, well done. So it's aluminium and oxygen. By the way, guys, I cannot teach you the periodic table again, right? So you need to go to the periodic table, make sure that you know all your elements, right? Okay, what is the ratio of the elements bonded together? So how many aluminiums are there and how many oxygens are there? Write it for me in a ratio form. Yeah, here we go. 2:3, right? So we see that there's 2 aluminiums and 3 oxygen atoms. And how many atoms are there in total? Well done. That's 5. Now, if I change it up a little bit and I put a coefficient before the compound, right? So this is how it's going to look if I put a coefficient. You're going to imagine that there are brackets surrounding the compound. And when there are brackets, we know from maths that we're going to multiply the number that's outside the bracket to everything that's inside the bracket, right? So firstly, what will the ratio of elements be now? So let's calculate it. So 2 into 2, right? And yeah, and then 2 into 3. When I put something in brackets, I'm basically multiplying those two numbers together, right? Then this will be, well done, 4 to 6. Great, you guys were very fast. That's good. I'm just accepting no to the lesson. Okay, so whoever's, hello Mo, if you guys are late, then you can just catch the replay that I'll be putting on YouTube, okay? All right, and how many atoms are there all together? We know that there are 10 atoms altogether. So guys, this shouldn't be difficult. This should be really easy, and for your exams, I'm not going to give you complicated ones either. So I'm going to try to limit the, whole bracket situation that we were doing yesterday. I feel like if you're taking chemistry next year, you guys can have fun with that. All right, so let's look at naming the compounds now, right? So when we're trying to name compounds, we have a few rules. We have 4 rules altogether. The first rule is whenever we have a metal and a non-metal bonded together, just accepting one more person here. So if we have a metal and non-metal bonded together, we always name the metal first, right? Then we name the non-metal second, but we add the suffix. A suffix is a word that comes at the end of a word to the end of the non-metal, right? So let's put that in practice. So the first one is NaCl, right? So Na is a metal. Na stands for sodium. And chlorine is your non-metal. So instead of saying sodium chlorine, it will be sodium chloride. So the I and E falls away and we add IDE. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And let's look at the periodic table one more time. If we see the periodic table, we see that sodium is here, whereas chlorine is right on the right-hand side. And we know that a ladder is formed here, and everything on the right side of the ladder is a non-metal, and everything on the left-hand side, all of this are metals. Okay, so if you're confused in your paper or while you're doing your revision exercises, just go back to the periodic table and say, okay, so if I'm asked to find iron, Fe, then I know it's within the metal section, and that's I'm going to name it first. Okay, so help me answer the second one. So I have Mg and Cl2, and we don't have to worry about the numbers. Remember, only when we have a metal and non-metal together, we ignore the numbers. Well done, you guys are fast. Okay, so it's magnesium chloride. The third one, sodium bromide. Okay, for this one here, we have hydrogen and we have chlorine together. So this is two non-metals, and this is a special case. But this is, we done it in life science. We done it in the first term. It is the acid we find in our stomachs, and it is hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. Okay, all right, let's name the last one. The rules stay the same, ignore the subscripts. Fe. Well done, Kian and Lesefo. All right, so I'm just gonna accept Kayla. I think her network is finally working. Hello, Kayla. All right, so Lesefo said iron oxide. So did Christopher. Michael said, sorry, I drank. That's okay, Michael, as long as you're listening. All right, so if we look for iron on the periodic table, we see it's here, and it's within the section of metals, right? So iron comes first, and we don't say oxygen, we change it to oxide. And I'm so happy that you're getting it today, Lesefo. Yesterday you were a little bit confused, but I think today you know what you're doing now. It's very nice.
Yes, ma'am.
That is nice to know. Okay, let's go on to rule 2, where we have a non-metal and a non-metal, right? So guys, remember in this case, we had prefixes. Give me the prefix for 1. I'll give you a clue. The prefix for 2 is di. Yes, mono is the prefix for 1. What is the prefix for 3? You guys rode a tricycle, tri, right? The prefix for 4? It's not quad. I would think it's quad, but it isn't. In science, it's tetra. Well done, Christopher. And 5. Well done. I can see someone has been studying, hey? Okay, so it says, write down the names of the following compounds. How do we name CO2? So we name the first non-metal, then we name the second non-metal, but according to the subscript of the second non-metal, we add a prefix, right? So here we see there's 1 carbon, but there's 2 oxygens. So how are we going to name this? And I want you guys to try. So we start with carbon. And remember, carbon is a non-metal. It's all the way here. Yes, carbon dioxide. Can you see how we're stuck with the suffix as well? The suffix "ide" and the prefix "di" is added there. Second one. So name the first nonmetal, name the second nonmetal, but add the prefix and suffix. Well done, guys, Kian and Christopher. So it's nitrogen dioxide. And the last one, sulfur trioxide. Yes. Okay. And guys, you can spell sulfur with a PH or you can spell sulfur with an FU. In America, they spell it with an FU. In South Africa, we spell it with PH, but I personally like the FU better. All right, let's move on to rule 3. I accidentally wrote rule 2. Rule 2. Okay, it says write the name of the following compounds. Now, in this case, we are adding the words 8 and hydroxide, right? So these are special exceptions to the rule. It has 3 and I didn't see the 3. Yeah, Gabby wrote sulfur dioxide. So I hope you guys are realizing that because there's a 3 here, the prefix for 3 is tri, right? So it will be trioxide. Okay, so special case scenario here. We're going to name sulfur, the nonmetal, and we're going to name oxygen, but we're going to add an 8. So it's going to look like sulfate, right? The 8 stands for oxygen, and the sulf stands for sulfur. Remember, this is a special case. Then the second one, carbon. We name carbon. Carbon stands for carbon, of course, but then 8 stands for oxygen. I don't want you guys to answer this one. I'm going to choose somebody to say this one. Okay, let's start Sibu. Sibu, can you give us the name of the third one?
Ma'am, must I type it, ma'am?
Type it for me, yes. Well done. Excellent. Okay, so the 8 stands for oxygen and the nit stands for nitrogen. It's that simple, guys. So those 3 you really need to know. And the last one, what does OH stand for? You guys can all answer me on the chat. So OH stands for hydroxide, right? Okay, now let's try putting these exceptions, right, and adding metals to them, right? So let's put them in actual compounds. So if I add the metal calcium before the word SO4, right, how is it going to sound? So let's ask Amy. Amy, can you help us name this one? So we name the metal first, and then we just name the compound next. So if it's sulfate or carbonate or nitrate, write it for me in the text. And then I want Lesejo to do this one here, where there's hydrogen, there's carbon, there's oxygen. And lastly, I want Kian to do the third one for me, where there's potassium, nitrogen, and oxygen. So Amy's doing the first one, Lesejo's doing the second, and Kian's doing the third. was supposed to write a message to Lesego and it came on the screen. Okay, so Lesego, that's all right. Let's help Lesego to answer this one. Who can I ask? Mo. Mo, you will do this one over here where it says HCO. I'm writing an M here for Mo. So Mo will do this one, then Kian will do the third one, and Amy will do the first one. Okay, so Amy says it's calcium sulfide. Close. It's calcium sulfate. Let me show you why. So calcium is correct, right? But SO4 always stands for sulfate, right? So no matter what I throw you with, if I give you like sodium or magnesium, it's always going to be the metal and then sulfate or carbonate, right? Thank you for trying. Okay, who's next? Come guys, it shouldn't take so long. Yes, well done, Lesego. Lesego says hydrogen carbonate. See, it's not difficult. She's got to give it a try. And Kian says potassium nitrate, which is perfect. Okay, well done, guys. Yes, well done, though. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So here, it's a little bit different, and I'm going to explain to you what you need to do. So it says write formulas for the following compounds. So I'm giving you the elements that are within the compound, and you guys need to help me form an equation. So I'm going to give you an example. It says 2 hydrogen atoms for the first one. So I know that it's H and it's a 2. All right. And it says 2 oxygen atoms for the second one. So then it's H, it's O, and it's a 2. And you don't have to worry about giving it to me in that form. Just write your letter and write the 2 or the number next to it. Okay, so the third one says magnesium and oxygen in the ratio 1:1. So let me do this with you guys. Right, you can also try to answer in the chat if you think you know the answer. Well done, Christopher. Christopher said MgO. Here we go. Right, and how does this make sense? Because there is 1 magnesium, right, and 1 oxygen in the ratio of 1:1. Okay, so you just name the elements and you check that your ratio is correct. Right, secondly, I have zinc, sulfur, and oxygen in the ratio 1:1:4. How does that look? Yeah, well done, Kian. Very well done. So the only thing you're missing there is the N next to the zinc, next to the Z, right? So we have Zn, we have S, we have O, and we have a 4. Right, and you can even name that. How do we name that compound that we just wrote? Zinc sulfate. Well done. So can you see that there's a metal there and then SO4 is sulfate? All right, so do the next one. Sodium, carbon, and oxygen in the ratio 2:3. And I want the rest of you to also try to answer. Michael, try this one fast. Sodium, carbon, and oxygen in the ratio 2:3. And the guys, this really tests your knowledge of the periodic table to see if you remember your symbols. Okay, so let me just see if Michael's correct. Yes, Michael, you are correct. So sodium is Na, right? And there is a 2 next to the Na. Carbon is just 1, and oxygen is Can't really see there, but it's 3, right? And guys, how do we name this? Michael, tell me, what is the name of this compound? I'm seeing now that Kian was actually the one that answered me. I thought it was Michael. Well done, Kian, you're on a roll. So, guys, how do we name Na2CO3? Sodium carbonate. Well done. And you can just change your settings so that everyone can see your message there, Kian. Okay, the next one. Iron and oxygen in the ratio 2:3. Michael, you can try again. And I want all of you to try. If you're not understanding, don't sit quietly. Let me know, okay? Because I don't want you to go out of this lesson and not feeling so nice about it. Okay, Christopher says Fe2O3. Well done. So iron is Fe, right? And it's in the ratio of 2:3. So it's Fe2O and 3. There we go. Yes, right? Remember to always keep capital letters for the first letter and then lowercase for the second. And how do you name this? How do you name Fe2O3? It's okay, Michael. Iron. Right, so normally you would say iron trioxide, but because it's a metal and a non-metal together, it's just iron oxide, okay? All right, nitrogen and hydrogen in the ratio 1:3. Let's ask Mo to help us do this one. Mo, I'm only asking you because you're quiet. Well done. Yeah. Here we go. NH3. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Potassium, chlorine, and oxygen in the ratio 1:1:3. Sibu, you can help me answer this one on the chat.
Sorry, ma'am. Please me come again, ma'am. One more time, help out, ma'am.
Okay, so you need to tell me. You need to write down the chemical formula of potassium, chlorine, and oxygen bonded in the ratio of 1:1:3. So just try it. Even if you get it wrong, it's fine. I see some of you are really eager to answer, so let me give you another one. Magnesium. Okay, you can do number 9 while I help Sibu. Okay, so Sibu says, I don't know. All right, so Sibu, let me show you how you need to do this. So in your chemical formula, it says there's potassium, there's chlorine and oxygen, and they're all in the ratio of 1:1:3, right? So that means that there's 1 potassium, there's 1 chlorine, but there are 3 oxygen atoms in that compound. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be K for potassium, Cl for chlorine, but oxygen, as you can see, there's 3 in the ratio. So that's how it's going to look. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Right, Mo says magnesium dioxide. Let's see how that looks. Yes, it makes sense. I see that Sibu's putting a little smiley face through. Okay. So guys, let's see how we need to name this, right? So most of you got it correct. It looks like this, MgO. But because it's a metal and a non-metal put together, we don't use any prefixes, right? So it's just magnesium oxide. Okay, Mo, you're very close. Okay. All right, we are reaching the end of our lesson, but I want to see how you guys can answer this one. So this is going to be quick. I need you to look at the drawings, all right? And you need to formulate an equation. Please do not write on my whiteboard, whoever's writing. Please clear it. Okay. So in the chat, we have two circles put together, all right? Imagine those are atoms. Okay, so when two atoms bond together, they form a molecule. So we have a molecule of salt over here, NaCl. Put it for me in a chemical equation. And we know that Na is a metal and Cl is a non-metal. And the metal always comes first in a chemical equation. So how would you write it as a chemical formula? Yeah, it's simple as NaCl, right? Do you guys get the hang of this so far? Let's try the second one. We have MgNO. Mg is magnesium, which is a metal, and oxygen is a non-metal. So you need to formulate an equation. I'm going to ask, let me ask Gabby for this one. So I only want Gabby to answer this one for me. Yes, so Gabby, write down the equation, the formula for MgO. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna write it for Gabby. Basically looks like that, right? If we look at this, the third one here, you guys can help me answer this. We have HCl, and we know that it looks like this. HCl is hydrogen chloride, and it exists within our stomachs. It's a very strong acid, right? If HCl comes into contact with any part of your body, you can burn. Okay. Okay, let's do this one here. So here, and you guys already know this chemical formula, right? I just drew it for you as a physical representation. So we have Ca, which is calcium, then we have carbon, and then we have 3 oxygens connected to that carbon. So we're going to name it as follows. We have Ca. We always name the metal first, right? And who can tell me what the second component of this name is? Well done, Christopher. It's CO and 3. Do you guys see that? So if you had to name it, it would be calcium carbonate. Okay. If I had a sulfur here, and I had one more. Okay, never mind. We'll do another example of this. Let's try this one here. So we have 2 oxygens on the side and 1 carbon in the middle. How do we name this? We name it as CO2. Well done. Okay, then what about this one here? There's Mg and there's 2 Cls. So the metal always comes first and then the non-metal. So how do we name it? And I'm going to be giving you drawings like this in your exam and asking you to create chemical equations. Well done, Kian. So it's Mg, which is the metal, and then Cl, which comes second, which is the non-metal. And we have 2 Cls because, can you see in the diagram that there are 2 Cls here? Yeah, well done, guys. Okay, and lastly, let's see who can crack this one. Same rules apply. Metal comes first, and then the rest of the name. I see there's a sulfur, there's 4 oxygens, there's a calcium. Okay, Christopher, well done. It's CaSO4. All right, guys, calcium sulfate. So it's calcium first because calcium is a metal, then SO4, and SO4, remember, always goes together. You never name oxygen before S. Okay, so this is the end of our lesson. Please make sure that you submit your homework in tomorrow, right? Make sure that your homework is handed in by tomorrow. I want you guys to revise over this work and